I've tested a couple of Kingbull bikes in the past 2 years. I've been impressed by their quality, performance, and feature set. For the past few weeks, I've been riding a new fat tire model from Kingbull that is advertised as a premium electric city bike. Let's take a closer look at what Kingbull is offering with this bike and see if it's really fit for the city. Hello, my name is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo, and thanks for visiting the Mobile with Matt YouTube channel. I appreciate your views and your support. I don't spend a lot of time riding fat tire e-bikes since they are too heavy and bulky to really serve as a commuter bike for my commute when it mixes up with the train and having to carry it upstairs and things. And it's just a bit too cumbersome and big for mountain biking. However, fat tire bikes are great for gravel, forest, and logging roads and cruising around the neighborhood in comfort. That big fat tires really make it nice to just sit back and go for a ride, especially if you're going to use the throttle only most of the time. For the past few weeks, I've been riding the Kingbull Trekker. It's a whole lot of bike offered at a rather large price to match the bike size. Let's start off by unboxing the Kingbull Trekker, and as you can see, the Kingbull Trekker is available in one attractive color, honeydew green. It's definitely a more refined bike than the Kingbull Hunter 2.0 with the integrated battery and the step-through frame design, making it a more accessible bike for everyone. The Kingbull Trekker is a rather large bike in a rather large box. All of the top part of the box has all of the extra pieces and parts, including the seat that doesn't come attached, and I spent a few minutes taking off all of the packing material. The first step on most bikes nowadays is to attach the handlebars. That requires the removal of 4 bolts, installing the handlebars and placing those 4 bolts in the proper order and getting them tight. I also like that the next step had the fender and the front headlight being installed before the front wheel because it's much easier to access everything without the wheel in the way. So attaching the front fender and light was pretty simple and straightforward with the tools. My next step though was quite a challenge. It took me several tries to get the front wheel properly placed, and it was due to the bolt that was being used, and it wasn't a through bolt, it was a bolt that required a couple springs on either side, and it took me several tries before I finally got it right. After I got that right, then of course it was just putting in the seat, which is very simple, attaching the pedals, making sure everything was good to go. So now that I have the Kingbull Trekker all the way unboxed and set up and ready to go, let's talk about some of the key specifications. In typical fashion, it has that 6061 aluminum frame. It weighs in at 79 pounds with a massive 450 pound load capacity, and that rear rack is bolted onto the back, but it is capable of 150 pounds of capacity. This bike is built for riders from 5'2" to 6'6", and that's quite a range, but thanks to that step-through form factor, that's very valid. And me being 6'1", there's plenty of room to raise that seat post up even higher to maybe that 6'6" height. Has a 48 volt, 20 amp hour, 960 watt hour battery with IP65 water resistance. The bike uses a Bafang 750 watt rear hub motor with 80 Newton meters of torque. There's 5 levels of pedal assist with an advertised range of up to 80 miles in pedal assist mode. As we've seen commonly, that's the 8-speed Shimano Altus shifter and drivetrain is present on this bike, which is pretty much the common one on all bikes nowadays. They have Zoom 879 100mm travel front suspension fork on here for a comfortable ride. A very comfortable, breathable saddle with an opening for flow. And those Kenda puncture-resistant 26-inch by 4-inch all-terrain tires. There's Tektro 4-piston 180mm hydraulic disc brakes, a backlit LCD display that's in landscape orientation, looks great. On the right side, there's the twist throttle with 5 buttons on the left side on 2 different controllers. 48-volt large LED headlight is up front, rear tail light, rear rack, and fenders. It does have UL 2849 certification for the fire safety electrical systems on the bike. So overall, specification-wise, a pretty high-spec bike available from Kingbull. Let's talk a little bit about the controllers. This is typical for what I've seen on the other 2 Kingbull bikes that I've tested. It's actually the controllers are in 2 separate controllers. The far left controller stands by itself, and it's very simple. There's 1 button for the headlights to toggle it on and off, and then a lower button that sounds the horn. To the right of that is another controller. And honestly, looking at it now, there's actually only 4 buttons because there's the power button, which is a distinct button, and then the up and down for pedal assist levels up and down is actually a single button that's on kind of a toggle switch, a rocker switch actually. So there's actually 4 buttons on the controller, but very, very easy to manipulate and control the bike. The display shows the battery level, the speed, the lighting on and off, riding mode and assist level, and even in direct sunlight. This is a very viewable, visible display with nice colors and contrasting colors with big text and font that I can read in any lighting situation. One thing on this bike is that by default, the pedal assist was set to 20 miles per hour, and on a big bike like this, and I'm riding around, I want to set that to 28 miles per hour. If you press and hold the plus and minus button at the same time, you can access the more advanced menu system that has different P levels. Do a search on Google and you'll find the right one. I believe it's P08 to adjust the speed to class 3, 28 miles in pedal assist. The throttle remains at 20 miles per hour, but you can adjust some of those settings inside the advanced control options. Now let's talk about some of my riding experiences. In typical fashion, I need to get up that 15% incline to get into my neighborhood. And I was thinking this Kingbull Trekker might be able to handle that with a pretty sizable 80 Newton meters of torque. However, this is a pretty heavy bike and I'm pretty heavy. So I started out on throttle mode, had that twist throttle all the way back. The bike kept going up the hill, got up more than halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way up, and it slowed down to 5 miles per hour and started to go to stop. So I just started pedaling with pedal assist level 5 in the lowest gear, and it got back up to that 10 to 13 miles per hour to finish the hill. There are many other hills around the neighborhood, and with those hills, it was no problem at all. So just the steepest hill, depending on your weight, you may have some issues, but many of you may be able to go up with just throttle only mode. But it's kind of nice to be able to flip that into pedal assist and use pedal assist 5 with very minimal effort and still be able to tackle the steepest of hills. One thing about fat tire bikes is I usually like to ride them more often in throttle mode rather than pedal assist mode. Because they're kind of a bike that is so big and heavy, it's nice to just sit back, turn on the throttle and go for a ride. Kind of like a big motorcycle. So I like also when that throttle speed is associated with the selected pedal assist level, because then I can control that throttle a little bit more. And that is the case here with the Kingbull Trekker, a little bit different than some other bikes. Rather than most bikes that have a pedal assist level associated with a throttle level 1 through 5, on the Kingbull Trekker, pedal assist level 1, you can get up to 10 miles per hour in throttle. Level 2 gets you up to 15 miles per hour. But then if you're at level 3, 4, or 5, that'll help you achieve 20 miles per hour. So that's kind of nice to be able to have that kind of control and to be able to limit the throttle. If you're going on a ride with family or something and you want to go a little bit slower, just knock that down to pedal assist 1 or 2 and cruise at a slower speed. In my experience in throttle only mode, I was seeing a range of about 40 miles, which is pretty good for a fat tire e-bike. In a typical flat terrain mode, pedal assist, Kingbull advertises a very long 80-mile range with that pedal assist mode only. I achieved a typical range of about 60 miles while riding the bike, but I am far above the weight of a test rider on flat, hard surface. 60 miles is still longer range than I've seen on other competitors like the Velotric Nomad 2. So if you want a fat tire bike with very good range, then the Kingbull Trekker is definitely one to consider. And like I said, I'm 240 pounds. Not everybody weighs that much, so they may be able to achieve that closer to that 80-mile range, which is great for a big fat tire bike. Sometimes your battery dies and you need to get the bike home. Now, no battery rides, no assist rides are tough on these fat tire bikes. The Kingbull Trekker is a heavy bike, but it does have those 8 different gears available to you, so if you do run the battery down, you can certainly pedal home. However, you may have to resort to walking up steep hills. Some of the things I really like about this bike is the color. It's unique, it looks great in person, it's a glossy finish on here, and that honeydew green is actually pretty cool. It stands out from other bikes that I've tested in the past, and it's one of the first things that people notice when I'm riding the bike around. It's also very, very good quality bike. The welds are nice, it's a sound bike, there's no rocking and rolling or shaking. I've seen Kingbull make some really good quality bikes. The display is also large and easily viewable in all lighting conditions, and that step-through frame is really nice since it makes it much easier to get mounted on a big heavy bike when you have that step-through area. You don't feel like you're going to lose the bike or drop it, and it helps to support a broader range of rider audience. Looking across the spectrum of fat tire bikes, there really isn't much to improve on with this bike. It has great carrying cargo capacity, good speed, good torque, good battery life, good range. The Kingbull Trekker is rather expensive, as I mentioned. It comes in at $1,899 in this honeydew green color with just a step-through frame design. The Kingbull Trekker does not have a step-over frame design or any other colors currently available for that. And what I saw on the website is if you use the code FREEDOM250, there is a limited time discount of $250, so please use that code to save some money on this bike. It does come with everything you need to get up and go, with the fenders integrated there, the rear rack is integrated, the kickstand, and everything else. You can also purchase a front basket, a frame bag, and more from Kingbull directly. The Kingbull Trekker is a more refined Kingbull fat tire bike than the Hunter 2.0, with that battery integrated into that front frame piece and a sturdy frame able to handle its 79 pounds. It's still a large bike, and I'm not sure how many people will ride it around the city with the Electric City model name. It certainly will handle the potholes and the roads of a large city while also being large enough to keep you safe from distracted city drivers. I really consider it more of an urban commuter and a gravel trail bike, right? Fat tire bikes, I'm not sure how well they fit in with the city. It's going to be hard to take that up to your apartment or up some stairs or things like that. But depending on what city you're in, maybe it is a city commuter. The Kingbull Trekker is pretty expensive at $1,899, but it does come with a 2-year warranty, and it is assembled with good quality parts and that UL certification, so you can trust that if you use the charger that comes with it and you take care of the bike, things are going to be all right. Thanks to Kingbull for sending along the Kingbull Trekker to try out. I'm pretty impressed with Kingbull bikes, and I have to figure out more places to take the Kingbull Trekker on gravel roads, and as we get to summertime, maybe some fishing trips. Thank you everybody for watching. Please subscribe and share. Interact with me here, and stay tuned for more coverage of e-bikes, wearables, and other mobile technology. And may the mobile force be with you.